Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mohammed. I hope you all doing good. And today I have here with me someone special. I've been chasing this guy for some time now. And before we start, let me say this. He has inspired me to start this thing. He's part of the guys that I've been watching for a long time. You made a video with Value Farms.
Yeah.
And you were like, even if you have two, get a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I looked at my two animals and I was like, this bullet is from me. So I took it. And today, less than a year, I'm here with him. Charlie.
Wow.
I'm glad and I'm honored to be here. And thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Can you please introduce yourself? You're not new.
No.
Can you please introduce yourself to us?
Yeah. All right. So my name is Fred, and I'm a livestock farmer, basically, and an agric influencer on all of us, the social media platform. You know, my journey started from cattle farming, went into what is it called, poultry farming, and now doing goat farming, both on a research center and sort of on a commercial level as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
You are saying you have not started yet?
No, not yet.
Wow. This is just warm up.
Yes.
But the land is huge and everything.
Yeah.
The machinery and everything.
Yeah.
What's the vision for this?
Okay. So at the moment we are at Sementia L&D farm, and the vision for this farm is basically a learning and a development center. So everything here, and the reason why we say we haven't started is we are still experimenting. So at this point we are focusing on goats. So what we are doing is we are learning about goats and creating a model that is replicable. So goats in Ghana hasn't been commercialized yet. They have always been domesticated, where everybody, so we have about 8.2 million goats in Ghana, right? And on average, a farmer owns about maybe 4, 5, highest maybe 10 goats. That means that there are about over 600,000 farmers in Ghana, small. And the reason why we haven't been able to scale it because we think goats are stubborn. We think that goats cannot be confined.
But they are stubborn.
They are not stubborn if you look at what is happening here. There's nothing stubborn about them.
Sure.
So what we're trying to do at this farm is to research and plan and study and come up with models in livestock farming that you can come here, see what we've done, pick it up and take it to your farm and make sure that you succeed. So now we're focusing on goats. From goats we're going to go into piggery, we're going to go into cattle, we're going to do poultry again, and basically collect data, collect experience, collect knowledge that we can share to all of you watching us that actually want to go into livestock farming. So that's the purpose of this farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to be here.
Okay.
So you were having cattle.
Yes.
Tell me more about it.
Yeah. So I started with cattle because just like most of you that want to go into farming, you know, I think the first thing is like you want to have cattle, sell them to the market, whether it being for meat, mostly for meat in Ghana, right? So that's why I also started. I started cattle farm to actually feed my school, which I'm sure you've seen it as well, right? And then I realized that, okay, with all my education and exposure, if I want to do cattle farming, I don't want to have them roaming around and, you know, destroying people's things and causing conflicts and so on. So I decided to confine them. So that's when I started introducing the Sementia grass and like roaming around, finding the nutrition that they need to be able to be confined. Because once you confine them, you sort of limit their access to grazing and what they can find. So you have to provide all that nutrition for them. So that's when I started processing. But along the way, I realized that I grew my herd to about 250 cows. But I realized that, you know, for me to scale to 1,000, 2,000, that would be worth my time. I would need a huge amount of land. So I had about, I still have it, about 130 acres, but it was still not enough with the feeding lots that I was doing. So I couldn't see the long-term vision in scaling, especially considering how difficult it is to get a land in Ghana.
Yeah.
for me to buy 100 acres, you have to talk to multiple families for them to agree to buy, and so on and so forth. And that's why I realized that, okay, if there's no future for me in cattle farming, then I need to change the strategy.
Okay.
And that's why I moved into goats. Because with goats, with the current land that I have, I can actually have over 50,000 goats, and I'll still be able to feed them perfectly.
Because they don't eat much as cattle.
Exactly, right? So a goat eats about 4% of his body weight. An average weight of a local West African dwarf is about 12% at the farm here. An average weight of these Kalahari and Savannah goats is about 65, right? So if you're giving them 4% of their body weight, that is very small. We process about 1,600 kg of feed every month, and that is something I can do with the size of land and feed source that I have.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks for educating us on the cattle and everything, the experience and everything that you gathered. What of the poultry?
Yeah, so poultry also was another great lesson for me. So I went into poultry in 2020, and again, it was more of a research. So I started with about 10,000. People might
research.
Yes.
Wow.
So, but
that's huge. Yeah, rich guy.
No, it's not about being rich. It's just about I'm ambitious. Like, I like to do things that's worth my time.
Okay.
If one thing I've been struggling with, especially in our continent, is like we were all born by the same God. We all have minds, and if you look at what people in the developing countries are doing with their life, the average lifespan of what 70 years that people have, and what they're able to do with it, and you come here and you see an African and what he's doing with his time with this 70 years. I'm like, God will not be happy with us, right? So you're not utilizing our mind, our time, our brains, whatever, energy, body, you know. So it's not about the money. I'm broke as hell. I just go in big. I just go in as I can. So with the poultry, I basically wanted to test all the birds that are out there. So I bought birds from Cote d'Ivoire. I bought birds from Akate Farms. There was another one in Kumasi. I bought from Holland. I bought from Belgium. I bought from Fuani Farms. And I was basically trying to see which one, you know, has low mortality rate, is more productive, is more resistant, and so on, before I actually decide which one to go into it. And I might say, like, poultry farmers are the most, like, protective people when it comes to sharing information. We have a lot of people, especially in Doma, who have succeeded in poultry farming, but they are very hesitant in sharing with other farmers.
What's the reason for that?
I guess it's just a mentality of, like, if you know, then you come and compete with me. But in Ghana alone, we consume what? About 264,000 tons of chicken. We produce only 64,000. So if you have this data, what is basically your competition? But people don't, and therefore they think, you know, as I teach you and you succeed, then it's that small mentality mindset, right?
That's true.
Exactly. And to me, that's why I even started a YouTube channel, to be able to educate people and share this kind of data. So the poultry was supposed to be a research center where I test all these animals from different sources, find out which one works for us, and then go into it fully. I started this in 2020, where a bag of maize was 150 cedis. So I did that. I used that to do all my projection, rear these animals for 2 years. And in 2020, when I was selling these guys, a bag of maize was 500 cedis. At the moment, a bag of maize is like 750 cedis. So it doesn't make sense. The prices of eggs have not moved more than even 50%. But the cost of production have moved more than like 500%. So if you're doing it as a business and you're following your numbers, then it's just stupid for a businessman to continue doing something that he's losing money on. But if you're doing it as a passion or as a hobby at your backyard just to feed yourself, then maybe it's worth it. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm not going to go into poultry. Somebody will say, why don't you grow your own feed? Great. As I said, I have about 130 acres, so I was planting corn. But till you have all the implements to mechanize the entire farm, you're going to run into troubles. Because with 130 acres corn, to be able to get people to spray, to harvest, to plant, you will need maybe you know, in a day, maybe 50 people.
Okay.
When you need those people in the rainy season or at the harvesting season, they are also harvesting their small farm. So you don't even have access to them. So you end up your production
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
and therefore you don't benefit. So I had all the machines, but I realized I didn't have a combine harvester. I didn't have a few things, and when it goes to that stage where I have to use manual, it becomes a problem.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm not growing the corn. The feed is so expensive, and therefore I had to pause.
Let me take you back to the cattle.
Okay.
Did you feed it all to your school, or you sold some?
Oh no! So my school was actually consuming 1 meal every term. So if we kill 1 meal, it could last us for about 4 months. So we weren't consuming enough. I actually sold my cows, but the great thing is, I sold all my cows in 2 days.
Okay.
So people, about 70 cows, people came here. The moment I told people I was selling my cows, everybody wanted them.
Okay.
Because, and that's the advice I want to give to you, people watching you. Anything you do, to do the right thing, quality.
Yeah.
Right? People knew my cow. Even in this community, they will call it the white people's cow.
Okay.
Because they said, oh, they all have earrings.
Yeah.
Hey, this one, yeah, you brought them. They were clean.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't dirty. They are not confined in a place where they sleep in their poop and urine.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody knew it. So any serious farmer who was into cattle farming knew that he needed to buy my cow to go and breed.
Yeah.
So when I said I was selling it, everybody came for it. I had bloggers in UK, in US who would come and say, 10, my guy is coming for them. They haven't even seen it. And they will just come and pick it. Okay. Right? So the beginning can be hard, but if you create the standard and you do it well, you know, you have the customers. Okay. So yeah, that's how I got rid of all of them. The branding was you know, it was on point.
I know you love to keep records.
Yeah.
I know it was for experiments and something like that.
Yeah.
Did you try calculating, or maybe I've made profits of this or something like that?
Yeah.
About selling the cattle?
To be honest with you, I haven't done that yet. I do have the records. I know how much I sold my cows, okay. But I haven't sat down yet to say this is how much I was spending. But I'll give you an idea, right? So most of you know the calculation. A cattle give birth once a year. You know, to us it takes us about 1 year. We get that cattle to about maybe 170 kg, and that was the goal. So the feeding is on point. We planted our own feed, so we weren't buying food, right? We weren't going around picking cassava peels and so on. They were grazing directly, and we supplemented. Medication is the only thing, but you know cows also don't get sick that frequently. Yeah, once you vaccinate them right and deworm them, they are healthy. You know, then I had two staff taking care of the cows, so yeah, so the expenditure is very low. I think if you can control your mortality rate, right, of your calves and heifers, then you're good to go. Yeah. So it's very profitable if you want to go into it, but you need to have your source of feed. Okay. That cuts down the cost. When you're able to prevent them from going out, it saves you a lot of headache, snake bites, people stealing them, infections, all these things, right? So I don't have the numbers for you yet, but I would say from my experience, it's profitable. The only reason why I stopped cattle farming is because I like to do big things. Okay. And I knew that I couldn't do cow at the scale, large scale that I wanted. Yeah.
Let's talk about the goat, then we talk about brachyria. That's the reason why I'm here.
Okay.
Because my people, that's the headache.
Yeah.
Feed.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the goats. What's the vision for goats? You were saying you want to keep like the number?
I mean, I can go as much as I want. Like there's no limit. There's no limit for me now at this point. Yeah.
Okay, so take us through the goats and the plan for that.
Okay, so as I said, so now currently we are standing in the Sementia L&D farm. Okay. So this is a research center where we are researching. What are we doing? So we're doing something basically. We're experimenting with the goat genetics. If you're watching me, then you know the size of a West African dwarf. It's like that, right? Yeah. That West African dwarf is sold at $50, around $50, which is maybe 700, 800 cedis in Accra, right? If you go to the north or to the villages, you might get it at 500 cedis. that same goat, right, you're going to use human resource to take care of them. You're going to build a pen for them, and you're probably going to provide them food, whether they're roaming or you're giving them the food. So you need this 3 resources and medication.
Yeah.
So you need this 4. That same goat lying down or eating there, right, weighs on average about 65 kg. That goat is sold in South Africa $900.
Okay.
If you get a good looking one, depending on their status, $1,000. So the same resources, human resource, structure, infrastructure, feed, and health, medication, is the same thing you're going to give to this goat that you're going to give to your local draft. But you see the price difference.
Huge.
Huge. So if I'm going to do local drafts, when am I going to sell $50? So my question to myself is, how do I add value to the local draft so that I can move them from $50 to even $200, $300? And the only way I can do that is by adding weight to them. Right? So how do we change the genetics of our local drafts? And there's a lot of things that have happened, which is inbreeding, and that have kept us where we are. So what we're doing is really trying to revolutionize how goat farming is done in Ghana and in West Africa as well. So I have 3 strategies. So I have imported the Boer goats, the Savannah and the Kalahari from South Africa. And then I have the Sahelian also from Mali.
Okay.
So the Sahelian has a height, but they don't have the width, you know, because of where they're coming from. I'm working on it. I'm trying to change that. But at the moment, they have the height which I need, and the foreign South African goats have the weight.
Yeah.
And our local goats are down.
Sure.
So now what I'm doing is trying to cross the Sahelians with our local goats to increase their height. Because the last time I tried a Boer goat on a local goat, it killed it.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a video.
Exactly, right. So now if a Savannah can cross a local, it brings it up so that the foreign can now mount it and add a weight to it. So with that height plus this weight, now we are in business. Now a goat that costs $50, their kids are going to start costing $100, $200, $300, right?
Until you get the pure one.
Until we get a pure one in our F5, right? So that is the goal for it. So at this stage, we are still experimenting. We are testing nutrition. As you mentioned, the cementia grass, you can feed that alone. So we are preparing our own feed, make sure that our nutrition is on point. Because for the past maybe 4 months, none of these goats have stepped a foot outside.
Okay.
We've been feeding all of them here. Once you confine them like that, what means is that they miss all their nutrition. So you have to provide all the nutrition they need to be able to grow, give you the best you need, and so on. And that's what we are also working on. So health, nutrition, management, and identification. So basically that's what we're experimenting with the goats now. Once we have that right, now we go into the tens and thousands of scaling into a commercial farm. So at the moment, we are not yet a commercial farm. We are researching and then building on that to establish the commercial farm.
One thing I like about everything you are telling me is you are being patient with the business.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they want to get in by 6 months time, they are making profits.
Yeah.
That's our problem now. People want to go in, okay, the next 6 months, how much will I get? The next 1 year.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to wait, take time, and let the business grow for you yourself to understand what you are doing.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot.
I think the question is, do you want to build wealth or do you want to build rich? Right. So what I want to do is I want to build wealth. I want to build something that doesn't only 6 months will only give me money. Right. But what I'm doing here, we give money to a lot of people, and it's something that we are going to build on, right? So what we are doing, if we succeed, that's wealth. Packed for generations, for a lot of employment, for a lot of people to benefit from it. But if I started to say, okay, I'm doing fattening, every 6 months I'm turning around, that's me. I'm just becoming rich. I'm not building a generational wealth, right? And I won't blame you if that's what you want to do. I always consider myself lucky and privileged to be able to have the patience and endurance to go through what I go through to get to where I want to get to, right? But it's a model that's out there. It's not a secret. If you give yourself time and you do one thing over and over and over and over again, you become a master of it. Okay. And I think that's what we want to do here.
Upon your research and everything, do you
Yeah.
think we can build wealth through agriculture in Ghana?
Of course we can build the wealth. I sold my cows, like that was a huge money for me. Okay. You can build wealth in agriculture, dude. Where else could you build wealth? You know, I've been everywhere. I've traveled to over 60 countries.
That's where I was coming.
Like, come on, and finally, like, you know, I have the skills to get job in big companies and get a better pay, but here I am, like, doing this. We are always gonna eat, right? We're always gonna eat, and I think agriculture, especially in Africa, in Ghana, and livestock in West Africa, geez, it's a gold mine. Like, we haven't explored livestock farming in West Africa. You go to Kenya, you go to Uganda, and you see people that have done great things, right? Yeah, you know. Yeah, but we haven't done that here. So we've left it to the illiterate, to our old guys, right, who are still doing nomadic. Yeah. And that's why Mercom, Palace, they are not going to buy meat from you because you can't even promise them consistency. So we are importing about 70% of the meat we consume in Ghana from Brazil, from Australia, from China. And a few people are benefiting from that importation. I have a friend who imports chicken, right, from Europe, and you don't even know what you're eating. So people are going to be conscious of it in the next few years, what they are eating, and they would like to see where it's coming from, right? So, I mean, plus the technology, plus the infrastructure, plus the inputs. There's so much to do in agriculture that we haven't even scratched the surface of it. So,
wow. We have a long way to go.
A long way.
We need more people in this.
We need everybody in this. You know, everybody, every human being, right? Yeah. You need a doctor, what, twice or once a year. Some of us, we don't even go at all. But everybody needs a farmer 3 times a day. Yeah. So that shows that we need more farmers. Yeah. So every one person is to 3 farmers. Yeah. So if women are complaining about men, we should be complaining about farmers. Without having enough farmers.
Okay, now let's talk about brachyia grass.
So now we call it cementia grass. Okay. So let's call it cementia grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you can ask.
Take us through. Why should I buy cementia grass?
Yeah. So number one, if you want to do livestock farming, I think my first rule, which is the aggressive one, is don't prosper at the downfall of others. Okay. Right? In business, we are all in to succeed. Your poor old farmer, you know, or your mom, your uncle has gone planted his maize farm, and you're doing goat farming, you're doing cattle farming, but then you go to his farm, destroy his farm so that your animals can grow. That's the downfall of another farmer, to succeed another farmer.
Yeah, that's true.
Africa cannot grow like that. We can't be stepping on other people to grow. We all have to grow together. Yeah. Because you go and buy cabbage, you go and buy maize to make your banku and so on, right? So I hate that about livestock farming. The fact that livestock farming is nomadic and is basically causing conflict to the point of losing lives and losing communities. The solution to that is keep your animals inside. 2 problems with that. You need to find feed and you need to find water. Okay. Water is easy. Yeah. Anybody can draw. But how do you get feed? And that's the true problem. If anybody solve this true problem, because health, if they are out there, you still provide health. But water and feed is the reason why your animal will leave your farm and go outside and cause you all this problem. Right? So that's number 1 reason. So that's why the feed component is key. So with cementia grass, basically you're able to plant it. And once you plant it, it will last to about 15 years. Okay. And all what you have to do is either allow your goats or cows to graze directly on it. Once they grade a certain portion, you move them to a different portion. Okay. In about 4 weeks, it grows back again, right? And then you move them there. Or before, if you're a new farmer, before you even start, cut it, store it till you have enough. Then introduce your animal. Just like we're doing, then you're feeding the dry hay rather to them instead of them grazing. By so doing, you're able to get enough out of the small plots that you have or the small acres that you have, right? And then the second most important thing is, if you want to scale, unless you are really like a Fulani who is used to roaming, right? But if me, I want to scale in livestock farming, there's no way I can have thousand cows in this community. Yeah, no. Where are they going to go? What are they going to eat? So for scalability reasons, we need to be able to confine them. Okay. And in order to do that, then you solve problem number 2, feed and water, right? So if you're really serious and you want to do livestock farming at a large scale commercially, to wealth your time, then you need source of feed. It doesn't have to be the sementia grass alone. It can be any grass. But to me, the reason why I've brought the sementia grass is because of its nutrients and the fact that it's drought resistant. Okay. Right? So as we are going to the drying season, a lot of the grass is going to dry. A lot of animals are going to go slimmer and you're forced to sell them. Yeah, but if you have this grass, then that problem is solved. Right? So you just need to find your animal feed that works for you. But the sementia grass is what I use. It's what I've bought into it for the past 4 years now. That is all what I've been on.
Yeah. You brought different ones.
Yeah.
I see you like the sementia.
Yeah.
Sorry. You like that one?
Yeah.
If I want to, I'm having like 50 cattle.
Yeah.
How many acres of sementia grass do I need to plant?
So if you have 50 cattle, so the rule is an acre to a cow.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to do an acre to a cow, that's huge. Right? And that is why I don't give these numbers, because then you scare people away. But what I would tell you is, don't let them graze it. Okay. Harvest it and feed it. Once you harvest it, right, what you do is now you keep it. Once you harvest, you can keep it for up to 3 years. Okay. So even if you have a cow or you're starting, the first thing you want to do is to plant this grass. Once you plant it, harvest it, store it, harvest it, store it for even an entire year before you introduce it to your cows. So as they are consuming the old ones, you're harvesting the new ones and replacing it. And that's what we do here at our farm. So the grass we are even feeding them, we cut it like early this year. Okay. Right? And we are feeding. So now we actually have to cut in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So we'll cut and store and then be feeding it to them, right? And that's the way you can minimize your small land and scale your head. Yeah. Because if they are grazing directly, then you need a huge amount of land to be able to do that. Wow. And especially those that are doing the fattening process, that means that you can. Yeah.
So how do I plant it?
So if you get your hands on the sementia grass, which I know you will put our number there so you can contact us, but if you get it, it's a seed, right? So we used to only plant the roots, but now we have the seed. So what you do is, if you get your hands on the seed, there are 2 ways you can plant. You can do direct planting or you can do nursery. Right, nursery is basically creating a bed and sprinkling it on it, cover it with like 1 centimeter of soil, and then just water it once a day. And basically what happens is it's going to grow within 5 to 7 days. Once it grows, you leave it for about 2 weeks and you uproot it. It's just with your fingers. You uproot, you chop the top off, because as you're going to transplant, you want to make sure that it's not struggling, because the same nutrients, if you have long leaves, it's going to try and feed all the leaves. Yeah. So it will struggle. So you cut it short so that it doesn't need too much nutrients to bring in new leaves, just like we do with everything. So you take it out, you cut the top, you can feed the top to your livestock, and basically you plant the small roots that's left in the soil. You can just do maybe 1 feet intervals by 1 feet and just plant them. I like to plant mine in rows. Other people do it however, it depends on how you want it. And then you transplant it. Once you transplant, in about maybe 6 weeks time, it should be grown enough, maybe about 4 feet for you to harvest. The second way of planting it is direct planting, where you plant it like we plant maize. You dig your hole, you pour it in, you dig your hole. The disadvantage to that is, because the seeds are not big enough, you mostly tend to put more in a hole than you need to, right? So if you're not even planting it yourself and you're giving it to a laborer, then they want to finish fast. So you don't know, they might put 200 in the seed. So at the end of the day, your seed will cover very little. And because you did direct planting, you're not also transplanting it.
Yeah.
So if they put 100 in a hole, you're going to have 100 grass growing. And it's just going to be so. To maximize, the best way is if you're planting yourself, great. You can do that. But if you're not, then you have to nest it. And when you transplant, you cover more grounds than you do. So that's how you can plant it.
You have a lot of followers.
Yeah.
How are they adapting to that system, the cementia grass and stuff?
Amazing. I mean, yeah, amazing. Like everybody, even in Ghana and in Nigeria, most of our customers are also in Nigeria. Okay. This is the first time people are seeing something like that. When I brought this grass here, people thought I was crazy. They're like, why are we planting grass? Okay. Why are you paying us to weed around grass? Okay. Don't we have grass around here? You know, but now people are like, oh, this could be the solution to my problem. Oh, if I have this, then I can do this. Yeah. So people are buying into the idea. Obviously, not everybody know about it, but as much as people that we're trying to reach, I think they are really buying into the idea, and it keeps on getting better every year. You know, as you're about to, the rain season is almost about to end, so a lot of people are planting now to prevent them from selling their livestock in the dry season. You know, so
sometimes it's hard if you are bringing a new idea.
Yeah.
For people to adapt, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
So kudos to that for trying your best.
Yeah.
Because you may give up if you are not careful.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will say things
if you
are not careful.
Yeah.
You will say, oh, Charlie.
Yeah. You need to know where you're going.
That's true.
And it's different when a farmer is to a farmer, right? Whatever I'm selling to you is something that I use. So most of you know we have an agro store in Achimota where everything that we use here, we sell there. And that agro store actually started because people started requesting the things we were using. Not everybody has the opportunity to travel like I do. So wherever I go to either a research center, I go to a shop, I'm trying to find what they use so that I can bring it from my farm. And when people see me using it here, they're like, Fred, how do I get it? And I was like, okay, we're going to set up a shop where if I buy one, I buy two for the shop, right? And then we keep it there. And that's how it basically started. So it's different when a real farmer is selling something to you. You just like you came, people will come here and see the grass and say, oh, okay, we'll see the goats eating. Oh, okay, now I can do it. Instead of a businessman who just wants to make money and sell something to you. So as you said in the beginning, I'm very patient. I think every modern, innovative farmer who looks into the future will definitely know that this is something that is going to help him or her a lot. Yeah.
You have been traveling.
Yeah.
Ghana, Nigeria. How do you compare our livestock farming, our farming system?
There's no difference between Ghana and Nigeria.
Okay.
There's nothing. We are all in the same boat. There's nothing. Yeah. The Nigerians have the West African dwarf. That's all they have. You know, I am actually the only person probably that's commercially sent these goats to Nigeria, right? So every 3 months we put an order together and we bring goats from South Africa to Ghana. Okay. And all the Nigerians will come to Ghana, to Kotoka International Airport, and pick their goats and take to Nigeria. Oh, okay. Right? So we are all learning together, and not just Nigeria and Ghana, West Africa alone. When it comes to livestock farming, we are all learning, and I think we have a long way to go.
All that we have said,
to
be honest with you, it's for the rich people. How do I also do it as a hustler, a guy coming up?
Yeah.
Charlie, Miniska Mekoto 1 acre.
Yeah.
How do I do it?
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because I told you I'm as broke as hell.
Yeah.
You don't
Charlie,
believe me.
You're just saying it in a comment.
I'm not. I am broke.
Seeing things, Charlie.
I am.
As far as some of us,
me too. Papa, and papa.
How do I do it? Help us. We also want to do it.
I agree with you. But
how do we do it?
You start small.
Okay.
But you dream as big as you can, right? So when I tell you that when I started this goat, I started it from my house.
Okay.
And I still have the pen. I have my dogs in there.
Okay.
And I started with 2, right? Obviously, the 2 is not what has multiplied over time to get to this stage. I've introduced new stock.
Yeah.
But if whatever you have, start with it and make money with it. That's the rule of money. You have to multiply money,
Sure.
right? So if you have these goats, as I said, the West African dwarfs, they will cost you about maybe 500 cedis. Get 2, that's 1,000. 2 goats.
Yeah.
Get your sementia seed, 200 cedis, plant it. Feed it to them, right?
Yeah.
In a year, you have 6 of those goats. That's 6,000 for you, right?
Sure.
Next year, you go again, another 6,000. Their case now delivers, right? So you're multiplying your money really quick, but have that patience to be able to do that. So yes, the papa you're doing, continue doing the papa, but add 2. Start with 3. Don't say because Fred has 200 goats, I need to get money to start 200 goats. Start with 2. Do your papa, do your 2. To the point where your 2 can pay you more than your papa, now you transition to that.
Okay.
And I always say this, when the student is ready, the master will always appear. Even me, that you think that I've done it all, there are certain stages that I am, that I need a master, and the masters are coming.
Sure.
They are coming surprisingly.
Yeah.
And that's how, whether you believe in God or whatever, that's how it works.
Yeah.
But if you're never ready, the master is never going to come. So you talk about it, you start actioning it, then the things you need. A lot of people reach out to me and say, Fred, I want you to help me start. And I say, okay, what have you done? Oh, I'm a new graduate, blah, 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 blah. What have you done? Nothing. It's like, are you telling me a new graduate, you don't have 1,000, you can't save 1,000 cedis? They can, right? No, answer me.
Sure,
So
sure
if you're watching us and you can have 1,000 cedis, why don't you have 2 goats? Get a female goat, come to me and say, Fred, I bought 1 male, 1 female, give me 1 male. Challenge me with that, right? And then that's when you get somebody to help you.
Yeah,
but if you sit down and you say, I don't have money, I'm broke, so I can't do this, that's an excuse.
No one is coming to see.
No, that's an excuse you found and told yourself, so you're comfortable and you've accepted that. And that's what you're going to be, man. Yeah. Right? So that's what, I don't think anybody is broke. I think there are people who take the step and there are people who stands and says, I can't, I'm scared.
Wow.
Yeah? So
we are learning here, Charlie. We are learning a lot.
Yeah. So
what are the risks involved in farming? Going in, what are the risks that I should be aware of?
You need to be willing to fail.
Okay.
Farming, the reason why the big people like Despite and Co wouldn't put their money into agriculture, even though they know there is the demand and so on, is because it's high risk. They would rather build buildings, which is easy, you know, Papa Mason, he will sell. It's there, it's a Japadia, you know, and whatever. But this guy is just like human being. Yeah. So now, even in the real world, right? Let's say you're God you're watching us from above. There are some of us who wake up this morning very active. There are some who wake up that has to go to the hospital. Yeah, there are some that are dying. That's living beings. That's the same thing with these animals, right? You wake up today, well, some can actually die just today, right? How do you lower that risk? And the fact that we don't have the infrastructure in place to be able to support us limit that risk becomes huge, right? And that's why, to me, I believe in what I'm doing so much, because the model I'm building, that is going to benefit thousands of people from lowering that risk, and even the rich, because now the risk can be lowered enough so that people will start investing into it. Okay. Talk about nutrition. We've spoken a lot about their feeding. Even if you have the sementia grass, you don't need only that. A goat's copper, huge for pregnancy. Zinc, huge. Sulfate, huge. Calcium, huge. Potassium, huge. Phosphorus, huge. Selenium, huge. Where are you going to get this? These things doesn't even exist in Ghana.
Okay.
So there's something we call premise, right? Then now you need your easy things, fiber you get from corn, your energy you can get from anywhere. You need your protein you can get from soya beans. You need, your energy can come from rice bran, wheat bran, whatever. Then now you have to add these nutrients to it, plus your vitamins, right? So where are you finding these things to make sure that you as a human being, you have all your balanced diet? The goat needs a balanced diet to be able to survive. Nutrition, packed, health. The vaccinations and medications that we actually have here doesn't even, they don't exist, and even not for even small ruminant. The ones we have here are mostly for cows.
Okay.
And the cows too, the quality is not good. They're coming from India, China, and so on, right? So you don't even have access to it. There are about 5 different types of worms. So even to deworm your animals, you need to know what kind of worms you're deworming, right?
How will you know that?
There's so many. So when it's coming from the nose, when it's coming from the mouth, when it's coming from the anus, when it's skinny, you will know. There's so many ways to check to know what kind of worm you need to. But the thing is, it doesn't exist. So I go to South Africa to bring my vaccinations. There was a time I need to vaccinate for coccidiosis.
Okay.
This district, Metropolis, didn't have it. The regional office didn't have it. I had to take a plane from Sunyani to Accra, right, to get my medicine, start buying the plane and bring it and vaccinate.
Wow.
Yes.
No, it's
not about being rich, right? No, it's not about.
I do this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You're asking me about a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah, that's true.
That money could have gone into
something else.
That's
true.
I need to let people know the reality on the ground. If you want to do it well, because you put your money in and you will lose. And you say farming is not. I think I heard Kennedy Japan in one interview, if I'm not misquoting, and he says, if you want to be poor, go into farming. Because he went into farming, hired people, and I think they did everything poorly and so on and so forth. And I was like, he's speaking from pain, right? It's happening. It's happening to so many people, and therefore they are giving up on farming, right? So the infrastructure doesn't exist for us. And my last point is skills. You look at this farm, I don't want to put a number on it, but it's worth an amount. If I give you that amount, you will not give that amount to, sorry to say, just some guy who doesn't have certain qualification or knowledge to do it. But then we start a farm like this, and the only people we hire are people that we won't give that fiscal money to. So why are you trusting such a project in the hands of somebody who doesn't have the skills, the know-how to be able to make you succeed? Right? So a lot of our staff here, we're doing a lot of internal training. We're training our managers, our farm assistants, and everybody. So we also build farms like this where people can come and get their practical skills and then be able to give it to other farmers. Also, it's going to contribute to the success. Because if you have the medicine, the food, and the person doesn't know what to do with it, you're also in trouble. So it's infrastructure, skill sets, right? And then you go all the way to your breed, your genetics, and everything. Okay. Yeah.
I can't be here talk about farm without your school, because I love education, especially kids. How is it going? I saw the buildings and everything.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
So how is it going? How do you teach them also about farming and other things in class? Or how is it?
It's going well. It's great. I think we are 7 years now when we started. We started with 120 children, and now we're almost 700 students. So it's been growing very well. It's been putting a lot of pressure, as you saw, the building. Because the more people want something, then you have to expand to accommodate them. I think that was the first thing I started, because I believe if you are able to educate, people, it all starts with the mindset. If you change our mindset, we'll see things differently, we'll approach things differently. So it all went to the mind. And recently I was telling someone that I have never been so clear in my life than now because my vision is basically nourishing the mind and the body with food. So it's like agriculture, education, and to me, it's like what makes you you, and that's this made my goal very clear in life. But education is something that I cared about. I have been a beneficiary of education. I grew up in this village,
Okay.
right? But I had the opportunity through education to travel, and now I am where I am. So I believe it could make a change in a community, and now everybody is benefiting from that, even though a few people were the one who contributed to that. So I believe the power of education to change a community and to change a society in general, and that's why I'm focusing on education as well. So it's both, but it all comes together. Because the goal is to be able to build an agric institution where I combine the education with the practical aspects here and give more sort of education in agriculture. So, yeah.
Let's come back to the farming.
Yeah.
Had there been a time that you feel like, let's give up?
Every day. Every day.
You feel like, nah, I can't continue this. I'm
Yeah,
done.
every day.
I'm done with it.
Every day, you know, the challenges are inevitable. It's crazy. Every single day, but you know, you pick yourself up. You fall, you get up, and you say, we can do this. You fall, you get up, you say, we can do this. And, you know, you get some few wins and you celebrate it. You know, a goat give birth, then you take that joy and you make it wipe away everything, right?
Yes.
Exactly. You lose a goat, somebody frustrates you, somebody say something bad to you. You know, so it's down and fall, and that's what life is, right? So I embrace all of it, and I try to stay very positive and focus on my wins. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you guys have to visit this place if you're watching and you get a chance to come here.
Yeah.
It will be good. Because sometimes you need to see for yourself.
Yeah.
See is believing.
Yeah.
You need to see for yourself
Yeah.
what goes on here. And also on Shah say yes. This is just warm up. The match hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
And I'll be glad if I could come back here again the next time and see your big vision being accomplished.
Yeah.
I'll be glad.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you and everything that you are doing.
Thank you.
God bless you and may you continue to grow together.
Amen. Thank you so much. And I'm sure next time you come, there's always something happening here. As you can see now, we are doing a wall around the farm. We're demarcating the feeding lot. So I'm sure by the time you come, we'll have more pens here, more goats, you know, showers of blessings. Yeah. You know, it will be fun at some point. But
you know, he's a busy person, but he has been able to give me a chance.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have given me the opportunity.
You're welcome.
The last message to the people of Ghana and Africa. You have been watched all over.
Sort of.
And you are a king in this game.
No, not a king. Come on. No, we're all learning. We're all learning. I think, you know, everything that's coming to mind is everything I've said here, which is there's great opportunity in agriculture. Africa is waking up. We're being conscientized on what we eat, where our feed is coming from. Our politicians are under pressure of importation. We are waking up, right? And I think agriculture is a portion of that the revolution is going to sweep with it, right? So are you going to be one of the people that we come to when the time is right? When people decide not to eat sick goats or sick cows, will your farm be the place where they come, right? Take advantage of what it is. Start with whatever you have and make money with it. As far as you're making money with it, the smallest the margin, it doesn't even matter. It's a beginning to something big. Dream big. As I said, I haven't started. To me, this is also my warm-up. But to you, somebody, this might be a done deal.
Me billion-dollar company.
Exactly. You understand? So let's start from somewhere. And we are here to help. These channels, my channel, his channel, exists to educate and support you guys. We don't want to be selfish and keep all this. We are paying the school fees so that you guys can enjoy the benefit. Very high school fees, right? The mistakes and the money we are losing here is not easy, but we're doing that so that when you start, you do not have to make the same mistake we have made in the past.
But
So
do you know the funny thing about
tell
this?
me.
People will say, "This guy just wants views."
Ah, okay.
People do say that.
But the good videos don't get you views. That's the
No,
thing.
you just want views. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not taking even
Yeah,
one cent
yeah,
from
yeah,
YouTube yet.
yeah.
But I'm making videos.
Yeah.
So it's not about the money alone.
Yeah.
There you are going in. Fine, it's good. You make money from YouTube. But the bigger goal is bigger than the money.
Yeah.
Since I started my YouTube channel, a lot of people have helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Because they know what you are doing.
What you're doing.
Someone bought a laptop for me.
Wow.
Yagbi Farm. Shout out to Yagbi Farm.
Oh, nice.
Help me.
Thank you
A
very
laptop,
much. Yeah. Why not?
I was not even
Expecting it. Yeah.
Someone gave me a camera, Easy Farms.
Wow.
Big ups to Easy Farms.
Thank you, Easy Farms. Yeah.
Charlie, thanks to you all for helping me
Yeah.
out. You see, some people understand what you are doing.
Yeah.
Others too, from distance, they're like, these people, Charlie.
Yeah.
They just want to be famous or
Yeah,
make money from YouTube.
yeah.
But we are contributing a lot to
Yeah.
our economy.
Yeah.
To be honest.
If YouTube was the business we are into, then we are such a bad businessman. Because you say I you know, you think I have a lot of followers and so on, but I make less than $300 a month from YouTube.
Okay.
So how can that survive? That's not a plane ticket for me to move from Accra here.
Okay.
You understand? That's not enough to even pay workers. So what are you talking about?
Sure.
It's not what we're in, but it's, you know,
it's just a small majority that, you know, in sometimes
so
people will try to just make fun of
yeah. No, but it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. You know, the videos we are creating today, the next generation is gonna pick it up, right? I think the whole of Africa, I was the only one who started talking about finances in poultry.
Okay.
I was telling people how much I'm investing on a monthly basis, how much I'm selling my egg, how much I'm making, and people thought it was crazy. People are like, why are you sharing money? Why are you telling people? You know, and I remember I had a call, it's like, hey, this thing you're doing there, your sisters and brothers, your family will even come and attack you. I was like, you're thinking so little. Imagine the thousands of people that are going into poultry that need this data to be able to, right? So I think sometimes you have shallow-minded people speaking their mind to you. What are you going to do? They don't understand. So take heart. I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And we need more people like you creating that vibe in agriculture and inspiring as many people as you can. Right. So thank you for coming. I know it's a long way.
Yeah.
So
but
I'm
we
glad.
have to do it.
We'll do it. Next time you're ready, let me know.
Inshallah.
Then we'll do it. Yeah.
Subscribe to my channel.
Yes, please. It's Mohammed Frafra TV, right?
Wow.
I know it. Yo, look at it. I know it,
Wow,
man. I know it. Oh man, I watch everybody. I watch from behind, I like and so on. So please go ahead and subscribe. He's another gentleman that's dedicated, traveling, investing a lot of his time.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, you know, it costs you more. You put in a lot. I didn't travel. I've interviewed maybe less than 10 people from their farm on my channel. Everything I produce it from here. So I don't really spend. I'm not traveling. Even to get one person to interview, it's not easy. I know he's been chasing me for months. I know, because I've also been traveling a lot. So every video he brings out, guys, is value. Yes, noise might be in, quality might not. It's a step. We all started that way. If I look at my previous videos, I even want to take it down, but I'm like, the message, not the message. That's what is important. So please, Mohammed Frafra TV, go ahead and go and subscribe. It doesn't take anything away from me. You see, and you listen to me, you listen to him. I've learned something from you, right? I watched a video you interviewed a guy in Takrady who had the Sahelian goats. When I was doing my research, I watched from you. So we all learn from each other. Doesn't matter. Small numbers are irrelevant, right? It's about what we are producing. So go ahead and do justice, and thank you so much all for watching us.
Okay, thanks to Jafar. He sponsored me this video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was like, I have to go and see.
Yeah.
I will sponsor you to go.
Nice.
So
What's his name?
Jafar.
Jafar. What does he do? Is it
He's outside.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jeffa, thank you so much for making it possible for him to come and see
Yeah,
me. I know it's a long trip from Accra to the farm. Thank you so much. And continue supporting him, guys.
Yeah.
Continue. I think what he's doing is great. And with your help, he'll be able to do more.
Inshallah.
It's not just about you, man. It's about the next generation.
Sure.
You know, let's do it. You cannot do it. You are camera shy. He's putting his face there. He's risking his life to travel.
Yeah.
The best you can do is to contribute to it and make sure that he's able to do it. So if you're even from my channel, support him. You know, I might also come back and ask later, but I know you won't give me, you give him. So go and give to him.
Fred is a huge guy, sir. Charlie,
You're welcome.
I'm really
You're welcome, man.
Shout out to our cameraman, Blessing, for doing it.
Hey.
Yeah, he's the one who has been doing the game.
Yeah.
Mohammed, we are here. Can you come? Mohammed, this
We are
is
leaving
so-
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We couldn't meet the last time because
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of everything.
Yeah.
So shout out to Blessing for doing a great job too.
God bless.